Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be covering off the Elite 8 preview. There is a game just finishing up now, and there's a game later tonight, but we're going to give you some of the insights that we have for the upcoming games for the Elite 8, which are happening on Monday, March 29th, and Tuesday, March 30th. We're going to get right into it. So I'm Adam.
I'm Junior.
Let's go. Welcome back, Junior. Some great games for the Sweet 16 as expected. We've seen the true colors kind of shine through on some of these teams and where they've missed the mark and where some of them hit it really right on the nose. Just some initial thoughts before we jump into the Elite 8 preview.
Wow. Yesterday was a bad day for betting the overs.
Yeah, no kidding. What about today, too? It seems like there's some low-scoring games in the first halves, eh?
Literally today I had to readjust everything, and instead of looking at hitting those overs, I was looking at hitting all the unders. And so far, 2 games today, both under. UCLA, Alabama trending towards the under. Yep. So that leaves Oregon and USC to maybe hit the over for one of 4 today on the overs. We'll see.
Yeah, I know it was an interesting day for games. A couple of teams that we really liked didn't squeak out in yesterday's games, which is okay. This is to be expected, and a lot of people would say that maybe they weren't supposed to be there. But at the end of the day, it was some great games. Great basketball overall, and I've really enjoyed watching the games that I watched yesterday. And let's take a look at what we got here on the lineup. So the first matchup that we got in the South here, so this will be the winners coming out of the South, representing at the Final Four. You have Razorbacks, Arkansas, who, they turned it on at the end there against Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts basically just gassed the three-pointer out. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the stat on how many threes they took, but it just seemed like for about 8 minutes in the second half, all they did was shoot threes. And they gave Arkansas a chance to come back in that game. And then we got Baylor, who beat Villanova. What do you think about this matchup? Baylor is a very, very solid team, minus 7.5 on the spread as it stands now. What do you think about this matchup here?
So Oral Roberts was 8 for 31 from 3.
Yeah, they live and die by it, right? When they started going inside late, you almost thought there were going to be a little bit of a shift there, and they were going to take the lead again, but it just never happened.
Well, one of those games that we were expecting to be a bit of an over ended up squeaking quite under on that under. Baylor still played a very strong game. They didn't attack the guards as much as I thought they were going to in terms of that pressure. So which kind of allowed Villanova to kind of stay in the game. Again, don't like them, but I'm happy they're out. They had a great year, though. They went a lot farther than I thought they would. But when I'm looking at Baylor making that jump now, they've beaten some quality teams when you look at Wisconsin and now Villanova. Arkansas, they did squeak one out against a 15 seed. And when you look at, they've played a 14 seed, a 6 seed, and a 15 seed. So they've been kind of gifted a couple of teams that are just kind of playing out of their realm. So I don't know how much weight I can put on those games, just because of the fact that they're very, very high seeds that, under circumstances had those upsets in the first round. Yeah. Here, I think Baylor's just too strong to ignore at a 7.5. So I'd have to lock in at a 7.5 on them.
And then we have the over here at 148.5. I mean, it's just been a weird couple of days with the over-unders. And I know if we would have hit some of those overs, it would have been almost a perfect Sweet 16 roundup for us.
Yeah. So let's go out on a limb and say under.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of the games that I've been noticing is they're gearing up real good in the first half of the first half, and then it kind of starts slipping away in the 12, 13, 14 minute, and they're just kind of going back and forth and, missing a lot of shots. Okay, interesting. Okay, so moving along here from the South, we go to the Midwest matchup. You've been riding these guys for a while. Oregon State, they were able to beat Loyola, which, was another team that I think we both liked, and we had a little soft spot for Krutwig, and that was still a decent game. And then they're facing up against Houston, who beat another team that we really like, Syracuse. What do you see? What do you see with these two teams matching up? Are the Beavers going to continue to be successful? They've had a tested past with some of these teams that they've beaten. Is this something where at -8 they can cover and maybe still win this game as well, straight up?
Well, I mean, when you look at the covers they've had this tournament, that first one they were 7.5-point underdogs. Then they were 6-point underdogs to Oklahoma State, and then I believe it was a 7.5 or an 8 to Loyola. I think they're eating this up. They're using this fact that they don't think these bookies or anyone in the country thinks that they're going to win these games, and they're coming out and they're winning the games. Ethan Thompson is playing out of his mind this tournament, and he's been absolutely spectacular, which is just driving his stock further up.
Yeah.
Now, Houston, they beat Syracuse. They got through that trap. But again, an 11 seed, and you're a 2, so you should be beating 11 seeds in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But it's still quite tough for me to ride any other way other than taking Oregon State. So I'm going to take them and ride them again at a +8 without any issues here.
And they're going to win this game against Houston to move on to the
They're
Final
going to win.
Four.
They I don't even have this in my bracket, but I love this team so much. So they're going to the Final Four.
Okay. You heard it here first, people. We got the over-under 129.5 on this game. These guys project around 140 on the season. I don't know about so much in the tournament, but
let's go over.
Let's go over. Yeah, sure. It's got to be over at one point, right?
Exactly. That game against Loyola when it was a 9-9 with like 10 minutes left in the first half. I was just looking at my over bet crying because I had pounded Oregon and the over, and I was just not liking the fact that that game went where it went. But we still got the win there for Oregon, so I'm still happy. But sometimes I have a tough time betting unders, especially like you said, when teams are in that 140 to 150 range, and you're telling me they're going to score 30 less points.
Yeah,
it's tough to swallow. But I think 129.5 that's a 70 to 60 game. So yeah, we're going to go over. Let's hammer that over.
The pressure is only getting. It's only building up more and more with each of these teams and each of these games going forward, and maybe that's being reflected in the score, right? Awesome. So that'll be the Midwest. We're doing Oregon State here to cover, to win, and to go over. So moving on here. Okay, so this game hasn't been played yet. Oregon Ducks versus USC Trojans. Trojans are favored by 2 in this game. This game starts, I think, at like 9:30 or something.
9:45, yeah.
Okay. So remind us, who do we pick here?
This was a tough one for me. I think we had USC going through, but Oregon covering.
Okay.
I think.
So regardless, whoever matches up against Gonzaga, and you know what? Watching that game earlier today, there's a couple of spots there where it just didn't seem like Gonzaga. There were some misses where it just didn't look like they were putting everything together. They looked incredible in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there was a part in the second half where it looked like maybe this game wasn't going to get high scoring. We bet I bet the over. I can't remember what you had.
I had the over.
And it wasn't anywhere close to what we thought it was going to be, I guess. At minus, potentially -7 against this matchup, do either of these teams, are we going to see a different Gonzaga, the one that we expect to run up the points? And, can either of these teams beat or hang with them?
Well, the one thing I've been saying about Gonzaga, outside the fact that they are the best team in the nation right now, there's one thing that they are susceptible to, and that's a team that's going to run a half-court offense. You can't run with Gonzaga, as you can see. They'll run, they'll gun. They got no problem. If you want to play, in the perimeter, they'll play in the perimeter. But if you have the ability to slow this team down, have bigs that you can dump the ball down to, and just let them do the work they need to do, then they're susceptible to a loss. Now, the thing with Oregon, they like to run, but they also have big men where they can just get into a half-court offense, slow the pace down, and just drive the score down, keep it low scoring. Because the higher the score gets, the more comfortable Gonzaga is going to get. You're talking about a team that's in and around the century mark almost every game they play. USC, I think, might have another shot there too, because they do have a set offense in the half court, so they do have an opportunity to maybe break them down a bit. I just don't know defensively if they're going to be able to stop Gonzaga as well as Oregon could. Because Oregon's long, they're lanky. They've got tall guys in the backcourt, so they can kind of alter shots from Timmy and Crispert. But then today you had Nembert go off, so it's like
you had 17.
It's pick your poison. There's so many guys on that team that can just step up and get buckets, which again is what you need this time of year. I'm looking for it to still be a good game. But I think it might be closer than the bookies are going to tell you, because that might get to 7. It could go to 8.5. I think that under is way too early. That number is going to shoot up quite substantially, probably to 150, 160. But if Oregon goes through, I think I would be comfortable in taking Oregon to cover that spread. And then with the way the games have been going, I think Gonzaga is really focused on trying to get to the Final Four. They want to get this perfect season. That's all they want. They want the national title. They want the perfect season. That's all they care about. So I think that their games are going to start getting lower scoring now, because they're going to concentrate on trying to find that open guy, get the right shot. As you can see with Nembert going off, he was the guy who was primarily open the entire game. So he was the one that was kind of benefiting from the slowed down offense.
He also had 8 assists in that game and 4 rebounds. So
yeah.
What about Drew Timme? Do either of these teams have an answer for him? Because he was outstanding with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, he looks great, especially down low, very close to the bucket. He's got some sweet little moves.
I mean, at the end of the day with him, it's if you've ever played, organized high school basketball, when you're down low like that, your coach will tell you, arms up to the ceiling. Don't try and block shots. Just get in the way, hurt the vision to the basket. And I think that's the only way to really defend him, is just get in his way, make the shot more difficult. If it's going to go in, then you just got to go, okay, that was a good shot. You couldn't defend it. And if he's going to go off, then you got to shut down Crispert. You got to shut down Nembert because he can go off. So you basically got to focus your defense to shut everyone else down and just let Timme beat you if that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's going to be, I think whoever ends up facing Gonzaga, I think it's going to be a great game here. I think maybe USC will probably go through in that game and face Gonzaga. And I think that's it. That's the last game, I believe. We have this game that just finished. Is it just wrapping?
No, there's 2:12 left. Alabama's up 61-60.
Oh, wow. This is a tight game. Okay, so that game's just wrapping up. It's UCLA versus Roll Tide, Alabama. This game was kind of going back and forth here and there. Alabama was up, UCLA was up. Obviously, I haven't been watching the last 20 minutes or so. But looking at these two teams matching up, I know we'd love to see UCLA go through, but I believe we picked Bama to go through in this game against Michigan. Michigan looked incredible. They looked primed to go probably all the way.
Yeah.
What do you think about this matchup? Either of these teams, likely Alabama, facing off against Michigan.
With Bama and Michigan, I think that score is a game where the score is going to get up. They're going to run at each other, and they're both pretty balanced offenses. When you look at Michigan, they can score from the perimeter, they can score inside. They've got a great mid-range game. They got Dickinson down low. They got the ability to score anyway. So having that kind of a balanced offense, they've had that all year. Bama likes to run. They like to score up. Michigan does too. They got no problem running with you either. I think if UCLA squeaks this out and moves on, I think they might be the best shot to give Michigan a bit of a run, just because they have that ability to drive the score down, get the half set, the set offense in the half court, and just kind of grind them out.
Yeah.
So if Bama goes through, UCLA is doing it to Bama right now. You got a team who's averaging almost 80 in the tournament. They have them at a 61 right now with 2 minutes left in the second half. So I think if UCLA gets through, Michigan's going to have a tough time in terms of their shot selection. So that'll be I think a big differentiator there. I know we took Bama, but I'm kind of hoping UCLA gets through just to give Michigan a little bit of a pump. You get the fewer one seeds going through to the Final Four. I think it makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, Michigan had 4 players in double digits, so expect that kind of production from that team. There's definitely some guys in the arsenal there that can get the ball rolling.
For sure.
So that's awesome. I guess so. We'll wait. We'll see what happens with that game and see who ends up going through to face Michigan. But I guess that's it for the Elite Eight. Any final thoughts just on these teams and just how the Sweet 16 was, and anything about the upcoming Elite Eight? How much is coaching going to be a thing? Are people going to change up? Just maybe some final thoughts.
Yeah, the Sweet 16 was a great round. It usually is. You're going to get a lot of competitive games, and we did, which is always a nice thing to have. Just. When you look at the teams that are left now, with Gonzaga and Michigan rolling through, with Arkansas, Baylor, Oregon State, and Houston, you've got I would say programs that are well known. You've got a 1 in Baylor, a 3 in Arkansas, a 2 in Houston, and at this point, Oregon State's the only outlier, because then you're going to look at Michigan at a 1, Gonzaga at a 1. If Bama rolls through, they're a 2, and then USC or Oregon at a 6 or 7. So, with all the upsets that were happening, it's funny to see that in the end, that Sweet 16 is going to put things back to normal.
Yeah.
There's no 15 seeds. There's no super high seeds outside of Oregon, but I think that they got a bad rap. Coming in at a 12, I think they deserved a bit more after what they did to the Pac-12. They didn't have the greatest season. They needed to win that tournament to get the at-large bid. But, I think they just, with everything that's been happening with the pandemic and the COVID protocols, the lost games that a lot of these guys have had, Oregon State probably should have been maybe a 6 or a 7. And that's probably one of the reasons why I love them, because they're a 12, but they're playing like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
So I would love the story of them making that Final Four. But that'll probably end up them going against Baylor, which I think would be a huge test for that team. But the games were great, and you get to learn a lot more about these kids that are coming out of these programs and the things they're doing in the communities. And I think the NCAA really went above and beyond to just get this thing going and see it all the way through. So I got to give them lots of kudos.
Yeah.
And even running the men's and the women's tournament right now in the same spots and keeping everyone safe is, with the way the outside world is going, it's an absolute miracle. So, definitely happy that we had this tournament and the ability to talk about it this year.
Okay, not taking into consideration the late game tonight, who is going to face off for the national title?
Well, if we say that our picks are correct and Baylor moves in against Oregon State, and then Gonzaga ends up facing Michigan. For me, it's still going to be tough to go against Gonzaga. I think Michigan will definitely make it a game.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I actually have my championship game in 90% of my brackets, Baylor Gonzaga. So it's looking like it might end up like that. And I think out of 90% of them, I have Gonzaga winning. And I have Baylor winning in one of them. So I think that's probably what we're going to look at. We're going to look at Gonzaga, Baylor, and it's going to be a high-scoring game, probably, 93-87, kind of in that range. But even if you look at all the games leading up to that, I think it's going to be still some fantastic basketball left.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would love to see, 2-1s duking it out for that national title. And I could definitely see and envision Baylor and Gonzaga meeting up in, for the big final dance, and that being a very, very exciting game. So, stay tuned for that. We'll be back to preview the Final Four. Is that Saturday? Whatever day that is, we'll be back the night before at 9 o'clock. Baseball. We mentioned it last time.
Yes.
If you like baseball, we have podcasts, okay? We have the American League, each division. We have National League dropping tomorrow, and the other two divisions. So it'll be East, Central, and West dropping each of the days leading up to our live show, which is on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. We'll preview Major League Baseball just before opening day, which is the following day, April 1st. So please subscribe, take a look around. The pods are really, really entertaining. So definitely, get a grip on those. And then, we're looking forward to moving past NCAA, I think, a little bit, and getting into baseball and, some other basketball and, ultimately hockey as well, with trade deadline coming up, I think, on April 12th.
Yep.
And then kind of the playoffs all rounding up there. So, stay with us, stay tuned, tell us what you like, what you don't like, and how we can tailor the content for you guys so that we can keep you coming back. Yeah, I think that's it for us. Junior?
Yeah, I'll just stick with us on Fridays too. Bets is going to be kind of winding down to a weekly thing.
Thank you.
And, we're, as you can see from our records in the NCAA, which is always a crapshoot come tournament time in terms of, hitting your unders, hitting your overs, hitting these spreads, all these upset picks. I think our numbers at this point, they speak for themselves. With last night and tonight, we're almost running we're above a 70% clip in our straight up bets, our spread bets, our over under bets are close to about 75, and then our upset bets are up around 70. We're close to 1,500 plus units on this on just this tournament. Our upset money was at 6,500 yesterday. That's gone up with Oregon State. And it could go up even more today with Oregon and UCLA as well if they pull that one through. But, we're looking at close to 120 out of 170, and I think it's pretty fantastic. And I know I'm sure Adam can agree with me, is that for us, baseball and NBA basketball, those are more of our kind of levels. So to get a better perspective on that coming in on Fridays. On the weekends, we've got full slates of NBA and MLB. We'll sprinkle in some hockey, too, just to keep it interesting. But, yeah, so bets Fridays, stick with us. And then always take a look at our podcast because we've got tons of interest pieces coming out. The Forgotten Ones is going to be releasing soon, where we're going to take a look at some of those baseball players that have been forgotten. And we're also going to run that through the sports, so hockey, basketball. And we're going to get into more interesting stories within boxing and other things like that. So we're always looking at expanding our portfolio here and bringing you guys as much to look and to listen to.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. We need an update on the UCLA game. There's got to be 10 seconds left in that game.
There's 29 seconds left. 62-61 Alabama.
All right, because it was 61-60, so that's interesting. Yeah, no, definitely bets is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a weekend bet show, so on Friday nights we'll highlight those games that we think are going to be locks for the weekend over across the various sports. And with that, hopefully we make you guys some money and have a little bit of fun while doing it. Forgotten Ones is going to be really, really great, so definitely tune in for that. Stay tuned. Like right after baseball goes live on April 1st, after our preview show on the 31st, it's baseball, baseball, baseball. So definitely check us out, Spotify, YouTube, all those places. I think that's a wrap for us, Junior. Okay, well, for everybody here at Offside Bets and Offside and Out of Bounds, we want to thank you for joining us. If you were entertained today, we asked you consider liking, hitting the subscribe button, notifications if you like. 9 o'clock is our sweet spot, so, if you even just pop on at 9, we might just be live and you may not know about it, so...
UCLA 63-62.
Oh my God! I almost want to just hold on just to get the.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're close. We're at like 14 seconds left.
Oh, that'll take like 25 minutes in a basketball game.
Yeah,
to play.
for real. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do my best here. Bama's past half court.
Okay.
I'm literally looking off of an app that has an arrow showing me what's going on.
Yeah. I've seen those. A betting app, no doubt.
Yes, I'm in Bet365.
Yeah, so we use Bet365. Bet365, we're looking for sponsorship, so please consider sending us a code where we can hand out to the folks watching today.
Yes.
And every Friday going forward. We are looking for sponsors and
or at least build us a referral, an O&O 2021 code to give people a better match on their installments that they drop in there.
Absolutely. As Junior's mentioned, we're at almost a 70% clip here with our NCAA tournament. And this year, I don't know that a lot of people could come anywhere near that number on this year's tournament. There's just been so many ups and downs and twists and turns. So, we really work hard to create the modeling correctly and give you guys what you're looking for so you guys can, bet with us.
Looks like we might have a timeout situation.
Oh, yeah, there'll be like 10 timeouts.
Yeah. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Foul, then they're going to go to the line and shoot 2, right?
Probably. Both teams in the bonus.
There we go.
It's going to be who's going to hit their free throws.
Well, it'll be an 11 and 12 if UCLA goes through.
UCLA foul, Alabama free throw 1 of 2.
It's going to OT.
It might be.
It's not going to be a lot of time for UCLA to get up a shot.
No. 6 seconds left. He's got to hit both these free throws, though. First one missed.
It's going to go to OT.
Unless he misses the second one. Oh my God, the aggravation of sitting here trying to wait for this to come through.
That's what happens in basketball. It takes 20 minutes to play the last 3 minutes.
He missed both? He missed both.
UCLA is up 1? 63-62?
Oh my God. Alabama foul. It's over.
It's
1
done.
second left.
They're going to ice it at the line.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. Live. Junior's looking at a real nice parlay that he's got going.
Yeah.
You just got to hit what? Tonight's game?
Yeah. Well, I've got it both ways. I've got one with Oregon and one with USC. So I'm partial to the outcome.
Okay. Awesome. Well, with that, I think we can confidently say UCLA is going through. So congratulations to the most decorated team in national, in college national hoops. That's going to be, now that we know that, so we know UCLA is matching up against Michigan now. What are the thoughts?
Oh, that's so tough.
I mean, they just beat Roll Tide at a 2 seed. Can they hang with Michigan? Michigan didn't really score a ton of points today.
They can. That's the crazy thing.
What did they score? 68 points?
Michigan, 76.
76-58 over Florida State.
Yeah.
I think UCLA is a better team than FSU.
100%. I think there's more skill, more size. Now, Florida State, they needed to do one thing, which was hit the threes, and they weren't. So that was what kind of dropped them out of that game pretty quickly. And then obviously Michigan inside out. But the thing is when you're going inside out with trees and you've got long, lanky guys, there's opportunities for steals. They're going to limit your offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
So, they always say control the glass, control the pace, you can control the game. And that's UCLA. They're going to control the glass. They're going to limit your second chance opportunities. And, they're going to slow the game down. So they did it to Alabama, a team that scores in the 80s, 62 points tonight. So I think that circle that on your calendar. Will they play Monday or Tuesday?
The games that happened today, I believe, will play on Tuesday night, giving them a one-day rest. So yesterday's games, they'll play tomorrow. Yeah,
so the time's probably going to be...
Imagine that would probably be the late game.
No, Gonzaga will be the late game because they want the national eyes on them. So they'll probably be like a 7 o'clock start. But Michigan, UCLA, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Circle that on your calendar because that is going to be a phenomenal game.
Let's see what the spread comes at. Any predictions on the spread on that game?
It'll be close. I'd probably say, if we had Alabama was a -2. Oh my God, Alabama hit a 3 at the buzzer. No way. They hit a 3 at the buzzer. It's going to OT.
Oh my God! All right, we gotta go.
Yeah,
we gotta sign off here because I'm going to watch that OT. I was okay when it's winding down the last 30 seconds. Okay, so for everybody here at Offside Bets and Offside Out of Bounds, I want to thank you for joining us again. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you want, email us, find us, shout us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're all over the place. You can come to my house. We will see you guys on the 31st for the baseball preview. For everybody here, I'm Adam.
I'm Junior. See you real soon.